legalizing prostitution comes around, people may look at you like you're crazy. And today you may look at me like I'm crazy because I'm here to tell you that I believe that prostitution should be legalized in the state of Minnesota. And I'm not talking child prostitution, I'm talking about people over the age of 18. My first reason is I believe that it should be legalized because it will lower the amount of human trafficking going on. According to pros and cons of legalizing prostitution, a study done by Professor Seal Young Chow showed that the demand for legal prostitutes are higher than the demand for trafficked women. And that study was done in over 150 different countries where prostitution is legal. And in the countries where prostitution isn't illegal, the amount of human trafficking is higher. And if it's legalized in the U.S., the amount of human trafficking will go down. Think about all the innocent women and children that get trafficked to the U.S. and they're getting raped and killed and all kinds of other bad stuff. And if the government steps in, it will be able to help regulate that and control the amount of numbers. I'm not saying we'll completely stop it because if it's legal or illegal, there will still be human trafficking going down. But if it's legalized, it will be more easier to track them down and keep track of how many people are getting trafficked and stop it. The second reason is I believe that it will create jobs. With a hard economy, it's hard to find a job. According to the Bureau of Labor, the unemployment rate as of now in the U.S. is 6.2%, and in Minnesota alone is 4.2%. And it'll give people an opportunity to make money and support their family of the time being. I'm not saying they have to keep on doing it as a full-time job and that's all they're ever gonna do. But for women in poverty, it's hard to find a job. I'm not saying none of them didn't try to find a job because there's people out there who are trying to find a job and they have education or no education, but it's still hard for them to find a job. Now, don't get that confused that they're forced to do prostitution because they're in poverty. Because I read an article called "Affluent Women May Choose Prostitution," and I read about a woman named Jennifer Haley who studies at the University of Arkansas, who has education, who's not in poverty and living well, but still chooses to do prostitution. Now that's a perfect example. It's not always people getting forced into doing prostitution. It may be done by choice. Another reason I believe that it should be legalized is because it will help the amount of violence against women go down. According to Business Insider, 82% of women that are prostitutes are getting assaulted and 68% are getting raped. And that's because they can't call the cops to help them because what they're doing is already illegal. And if the government steps in, it'll be government regulated and they'll have the same rights as any other profession. It'll be looked at as a normal profession. Like, it'd be a normal job for them. They'd be making the same money. They'd be regulated by the government. Nothing would go wrong. The number of violence and rapes will go down because they'll be able to call the cops and they'll be able to step in just like it would happen in a normal job. And for any other concerns about the number of STDs going up, it'll be government regulated too because the government can step in and make sure that if you're prostituting, you have to have checked on your STDs on a weekly basis and make sure you don't have STDs. And that's just some reasons why I believe that prostitution should be legalized in the state of Minnesota.